All right, thank you for joining us for this special 24th floor live stream edition. I'm Ruben Diaz. Memphis Grizzlies preparing to formally introduce this year's NBA draft class. They entered with several picks. They entered this year's draft with the third pick, the 16th pick, and the 32nd. They ended up, when it was all said and done, they ended up with 3 players and 5 second-round picks to it all. The Grizzlies hosting an introductory press conference welcoming their newest draft selections. We're talking Cam Boozer from Duke, Kareem Lopez from the NBL's New Zealand Breakers, and Richie Saunders from BYU. Let's check in now with General Manager Zach Kleiman, who's getting ready to introduce the latest and newest members of the Memphis Grizzlies. Let's take a look in and a listen.
At that time of the players with their brand new Grizzlies jerseys, and joining Cam, Kareem, and Richie on the dais, the President and General Manager of Basketball Operations, Zach Kleiman, and the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, Tomas Isilo. Cam Boozer, number 3 overall pick out of Duke University. He was statistically one of the most dominant college basketball players in a generation, and he has been a winner at every level. A unanimous first-team All-American, Cam swept the Collegiate Player of the Year awards, including the Wooden and Naismith Awards. Last season, he became the first NCAA player to average 22 points, 10 boards, and 4 assists while shooting 55% or better minimum 20 games played. Kareem Lopez was the 21st overall pick. He comes to us from the New Zealand Breakers of the National Basketball League, the first ever Mexican-born player to be drafted in the first round. He played the last 2 seasons with the Breakers as part of the NBL's Next Stars program that has produced NBA players, including fellow Grizzly Rayan Rupert. Last season, he was the only player in the league to average 6 rebounds, a block, and a steal while committing fewer than 2 turnovers per game, and he also scored the most points ever by a draft-eligible player in the history of the Next Stars program. Richie Saunders, the 32nd overall pick, comes to us from Brigham Young University. He was a 4-year player for the Cougars, a knockdown 3-point shooter, particularly off the catch, averaged almost a steal and a half over his last 2 seasons with the Cougars. And last season, he averaged 18 points and 6 boards per game while shooting 38% from the arc while earning a second-team selection to the All-Big 12 team. His father, Rich, played for UC Davis in the 1990s. Let's welcome them to Memphis, shall we? And with that, let's open it up to questions.
This question, Chris Harrington, Daily Memphian. This question is for Cam, but I'd be interested in a response from either Zach or Thomas as well. Cam, you might end up being the youngest player in the NBA next season, but you're a number 3 overall pick. You're coming into what's now a rebuilding team that's going to make you seemingly a centerpiece on and off the floor of what they're trying to accomplish. Is that intimidating for you? How do you take on that kind of challenge?
I wouldn't say it's intimidating. I think for me, I've had a target on my back my whole career. I've been one of the top players in the country in my class for 4 or 5 years now, so I wouldn't say it's intimidating, but obviously the NBA is a new level. I'd say it's more exciting. I think it's a new opportunity. You face a new challenge. And for me, I want to be a great player. I want to be one of the greatest players to play the game. That means you're going to have challenges, So I think it's really exciting. I'm excited to be here in Memphis. I think we've got a great young team who's hungry. And I think we're going to surprise some people.
DeMarco Cole here from the Memphis Commercial Appeal for the players. For each of you, just now that you've gotten to Memphis, you got to meet a few people early on. Just what have been your first impressions, meeting each other, meeting your future head coach, general manager, and things like that so far?
Just open arms. Everybody's been super friendly, and it's clear everybody has the right goal and right mindset of winning and playing hard.
Yeah, like you said, super welcoming. I think everyone here is super friendly as an organization, just a city in general. So, it's been great to be here so far.
Yeah, just followed up on what they said. Everybody was welcoming us with open arms. It's super great. Today we've been here, so yeah, super excited to work.
What's going on, guys? Matt Enfield with Actors 5 here in town. Welcome to Memphis. This is for Cam. You talked on ESPN the other day about how in 5 or 10 years, people will say you should have been the number 1 pick, even if you weren't discussed in that mold with the Batson Peterson this year. Despite your production, it felt like people maybe undersold what your potential could be in the NBA because of whatever the reasons might be. With all that in mind, you come into the league with a chip on your shoulder, even though you have accomplished so much and won so much early in your career?
I think most definitely. I think it's like you said, that's how I feel. And I think just being here in this organization and seeing the vision of this team, I think there's no reason why that's not achievable for me. I think a lot of that comes with team success, and I think being here is really exciting to see what we can do. But, there's definitely a chip on my shoulder. So, yeah.
Cam, one more for you. You'll be expected to be, one of the star players on this team, especially among the fans, and you'll be a face of the franchise. What makes you believe you're ready for that, and what sort of requirements do you think comes with that responsibility?
Yeah, I think, I think going to Duke really helped me prepare for this. I think at Duke, you're playing one of the biggest stages in college basketball, if not the biggest stage. You're playing big games every night. You're playing other top players every night. And for me, I've been the best player on my team my whole life. So I'm not saying I'm going to come in and walk in and be the best player, but being a big-time player is not something that's new to me. And I think I've been very prepared for this challenge, and I think playing the high level I did in high school and going to college, playing at the highest level, I feel ready, so we'll see in a couple months, but I'm super excited for sure.
Karim, ¿cómo estás? Mi nombre es Miguel de la prensa latina de aquí de Memphis. Tengo una pregunta y una petición. La pregunta es, dime qué sientes en llegar a un equipo de Memphis que está en reconstrucción, en vez de un equipo de Detroit que tuvo uno de los mejores récords el año pasado. ¿Cómo te sientes cuando te dijeron cómo te sentiste cuando te dijeron que venías a Memphis? La ciudad de Memphis tiene una base hispana bastante grande, sobre todo mexicanos. Cuéntame cómo te sientes que vas a ver el FedEx ahora lleno de personas de México y que le hagas una invitación a toda esa comunidad que por primera vez tendrá un jugador mexicano en el equipo.
Sí, claro, me siento muy feliz, la verdad, muy contento, bendecido. Cuando me enteré del cambio, creo que ya me sentí contento. Creo que es un equipo, como dices, en reconstrucción, un equipo joven, un equipo con muchas ganas y con una cultura que creo que va a encajar muy bien con ella. Y nada, estoy muy emocionado por el futuro. Hay que invitar a todos esos fans a que vengan, que nos apoyen y que se sumen al barco.
Jonah Dillon, Commercial Appeal. Richie, just curious what the last couple months have been like for you after the injury, kind of going through the process, knowing obviously not 100%, and then how you kind of feel physically going into the summer and then next season.
Yeah. It was hard, right? Like coming off of or having pretty much a life-changing injury, right? I've never experienced that. But I've been super mentally building. I've been just so focused on getting better and focused on having a great foundation as I enter into this next step from a knee standpoint. But yeah, it's been a grind. It's been work. That's what I've done my whole career is work, and it's been in this different, more focused way, but it's been work. And I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to finish my rehab here and be playing when I'm playing, and and be able to just work alongside these guys, alongside the rest of the team, and bring what I bring to the table and help win games.
For you, Coach Tomas, now that you have these players in place, and we heard there's some familiarity even with some of these guys, what do you see kind of as the on-court vision early on based on their skill sets and implementing them?
Well, obviously we have a clear idea of what the guys have done in their previous situations, and all three players have been very successful in those, and I think there's always this exploration phase, starting also with the summer league, of getting to know the guys better and finding some also hidden skill sets and how that meshes with the other guys, and the other part there is also the camaraderie between the group and them getting to know each other. But what I like about all three is they've had success, and they are very adaptable in the different situations, and their skill sets open up space also for other players and complement the other pieces we have. So there's a lot of pathways forward.
Colin Cody, WRG here in Memphis. Welcome to Memphis, fellas. This is for Richie. Richie, you're sitting up there with two of the youngest guys in this NBA draft, and with you being 24, coming in a Grizzle veteran already, how does it feel to finally get to this point in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it took a little bit, but I'm here. Yeah, I mean, that's how it's been. I think last year playing around, just being with younger players and being able to help guide them in the ways that I've seen, just using my experience in the game, like it's been great. And so, you know, I'm young in the sense of I've never put on an NBA uniform, and like I'm gonna come on and use my previous just experience that I've had over the years and really just focus it here and hopefully be able to guide some of my young teammates as well. As a rookie, funny saying my young teammates, but that's what it is.
Hey, Coach, good to see you again. Since you brought it up, Summer League, what's the likelihood of seeing each one of these guys either in Utah or Vegas in a few days?
I would say pretty high. So Richie's obviously still in the rehab phase, but both Cam and Karim are going to be participating in the Summer League.
Cam, what do you think about the front court with you, Zach Edey, another consensus player of the year, collegiate winner a couple years ago, and Cedric Howard, who was your almost teammate, now actual teammate? What comes to mind? And as a follow-up to that, I know you joked that you were still mad at Seb because he bailed on you at Duke last year. What do you think he could have done and what you guys could have done if Seb did play college ball last year after you watched him in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, first I want to say with the whole Duke situation, I mean, said I'd do his best for him. I wasn't actually mad at him. It was just like, you know, it would have been great to play with him. But, I mean, what he would have done at Duke would have been great. You know, obviously you saw what he did in the NBA, so imagine what he would have done at the college level. So, obviously Sed's a great player, super excited to get on the court with him. And then Zach, you know, I mean, he's huge. You know, I don't think anyone doesn't think that, you know, so super excited to play with a guy that big. And we're going to dominate the glass, dominate the paint. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Tim Buckley, Daily Memphian. Cam, what's the biggest piece of advice your dad has given you about taking it to the next level based on his experience? And what do you think all this means to him sitting over there?
I mean, I think it means a lot to him sitting over there. You know, once upon a time he was in my shoes doing this press conference, and I think to see your son doing that is a special thing. You know, for me, it's been my dream my whole life, and he's basically seen me go from a baby at his press conference tables to now I'm doing my own. So I think he's super proud, and I think the biggest piece of advice just to, I mean, I've said it a lot, but just to be present, be every day, attack every day. I think when you look too far ahead, you know, maybe I'm thinking about Summer League, maybe I'm thinking about the start of the NBA season. I mean, I got to get better today. You know, I think that's a huge thing, and I think that's what him and a bunch of people in my corner have been telling me. So that's the main thing for sure.
DeMichael Covey, Memphis Commercial Appeal. Cam, a couple for you, real quick ones. One, what went into the decision to wear the number 27? And two, has it registered to you that you could potentially, now that you're Memphis Grizzlies, you could be on the roster with someone who was your dad's teammate in Taj Gibson?
Yeah, I mean, that would be crazy. I think it just kind of shows that life goes by quickly. I mean, my dad probably remembers playing with Taj like it was yesterday, and now you can see me playing with him, so that would be crazy. I think it would be great for me as well just to have a vet like that around me. But the number 27, my mom wore it in college playing volleyball, so that's why I chose that number.
This question for Zach. Doc Holliday, Action News 5. We can talk about the physical attributes of each player, but I know for a fact from what me and you've been talking about, personality types. Seen Cam play, got that dog. Didn't know much about Richie, but watching him, he got that dog, and Kareem got that dog. So is that something that played into your decision when you were looking at the prospects and who to pick up other than just physical attributes?
Doc, I think you said it about as well as I could. I mean, that's where it starts. When we're talking about the guys who we want to bring into this program. Obviously, there's so much that we're excited about that we believe in. Everything's got to be earned. You know, we're about to get to work, and we've got three guys who are professional about winning, focused on just going out and proving that every day. I love how Cam said that. But when we're thinking about the type of individuals that embody this team, this organization, this city, you're looking at them. I think they speak for themselves. The professionalism comes through. These guys are all focused on winning at the end of the day. That's what it all flows from. We've got tough-minded, physically tough, highly skilled, you know, again, but these are guys that are going to go out and fight, you know, every day. And over the last couple of days, what we've been able to go out, these guys who we've been able to bring in and push forward with, we couldn't be more excited organizationally, because this is the Grizzlies' DNA.
Zach, you've talked about this team pivoting to a younger build and, you know, all that entails. How is what you accomplished on draft night going to help this team turn the page and start, you know, a new, I guess, era of the team?
Yeah, well, what I would say is everything we've been able to do over the last couple of days and over the last couple of years has really been leaning into an identity, you know, that we believe in, and that's, you know, some of the attributes I just hit on. They're serious, they're tough-minded, they're output-focused. It's about winning, you know, at the end of the day. We've got guys that are all bought in. They've done it, you know, they've shown at every level. These are guys that are focused on winning and have, in fact, you know, won. They find ways to win. In all cases, I think guys that have been put in a box for things that maybe they are perceived to not be able to do. You can't do this, you can't do that. These are all guys that they don't care about that. They don't care about what people are saying. They just find a way to win, you know, at the end of the day. So having these guys, you know, represent that, there's a pending transaction we can't comment on that I think is also an outstanding, you know, DNA fit, you know, for what we're about. We're going to be physically tough. We're going to be tough-minded, and all we're, you know, this is about the work and focused on winning. So couldn't be more excited about really pushing this forward with guys who we, you know, have the utmost confidence in pushing us in that direction.
Lee Eric Smith for the Tri-State Defender. Zach, that was kind of an alley-oop to the question I guess we'll send to Coach. If you had to, the Grizzlies' different eras of basketball have had something that kind of went against what everybody else in the league was doing. That's kind of part of the DNA of the franchise as well. How would you describe the brand of basketball that you want to play with, the personnel that you have, and then what other skill sets do you need to fully flesh that out?
Well, I think Zach mentioned the key word there is a team with all of the Grizzlies teams from the past and present also need to have a strong identity. And that identity for us has started with the high effort and high character, team-orientedness. We talked a lot about here in this room about speed last season. That is sometimes also misunderstood, that it's just the foot speed, but it's also the speed of decision making and overall a strong collective. And I think those are also very important things when you're looking to build a connection with the community and with the city to have the city behind you. It's very important that the people feel like the team is a working team and that they play for the whole and play for each other, but also for the city and the organization. And then in the end, you got to find a way to win. And that's one of the things that we saw last year. A lot of things can happen, and the most important thing is, I think Cam touched on this already, is keep chipping away and every day look to get better in practice and in the games, because that's really the thing you can control. And I couldn't be happier about the approach of these three guys or the ones that we have on the roster in that aspect.
This is for Kareem. You're the first Mexican-born player drafted in the first round. You have the whole country of Mexico behind you. Now you have to see that Memphis is behind you. How does that feel to know you have those two things behind you now? Your first day in Memphis and Mexico. They're sparing our comments all the last 2 days. So how's that feel?
No, it's great. It's amazing, you know, to just have people supporting me. It always helps, right? It's better to have supporters than haters, right? So yeah, I'm super blessed for that, and I mean, just looking forward to this opportunity. And
Coach, good to see you. For someone with the offensive mind that you have, when you look at Cam's collegiate tape and the passing, the processing, the playmaking for a guy that size, I got to see a smile on your face right now, but how much excitement does that bring you?
It's one of those positive problems. Just he's a very unique player in many aspects. If you go down, there are a lot of statistical databases that you can go to or video services. One of them is Synergy, and you go there and you look at the play type distribution. That's not your typical play type distribution because he does everything basically on the court. So he can create mismatches in the post. He scores out of transition. He is an excellent shooter and mover without the ball. He can screen. He can handle himself. So there's really everything you would need from an offensive guy, and I think that's the big thing with him is just to utilize also his high basketball IQ, his decision making, and his ability also to get the teammates on the same page. And I think like Cam's biggest attribute is the fact that he makes the team win. With him on the court, I believe they were plus 30 points per 100, and was his on-off was plus 11 per 100 possessions, and that's the best quality that a player can have, is that he affects the winning, and he really improves the players around him. He's somebody who really facilitates the interactions, and this is not just as a player, but also as a person who's very, very team-oriented and very, very oriented towards winning. So that's why you see me smiling here, because I'm really looking forward to also help him unlock that potential now at the next level.
This is for all three of the players. I know you guys just got here, but do you have any, have you learned anything about Memphis? Do you have any impressions that have stood out so far in your first few hours?
I'll go. I'm going to, what was it, the Peabody Ducks. That's like going to be one of my first stops. I didn't even know that was a thing, so I'm excited to see what that's about.
Definitely the Ducks, like you said. I didn't know there's like a Duck Master or something, so that's definitely super cool. I think the Bass Pro Shop, that's a whole pyramid. But I just think also I'm very excited for the food here. I've heard a lot of great reviews, so but I mean it's been a good experience so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say the Ducks, but like, I feel like it's competitive at this point. But I'll say definitely the food. I've only had a couple meals, but it's been pretty amazing so far.
Thank you.
Yeah.